Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for LHSC's April Community Update meeting. I'm glad we have this time to connect and share updates on the important work happening across our organization. Before we begin, I want to share today's land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenape, and Atuan-Daran, also known as the Neutral Peoples. We recognize the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous peoples with whom we share this land. Today, this region is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work, live, and learn in this territory. As a healthcare institution, we recognize the importance of approaching care in a way that is inclusive, respectful, and informed by the histories and cultures of the Indigenous peoples who have cared for this land since time immemorial. We honor their ongoing contributions to community health and well-being, and we acknowledge the lasting impacts of colonialism and systemic inequities in healthcare. We are committed to reconciliation, to listening and learning, and to working together in partnership with Indigenous communities to support healing, respect, and equity in health. So again, thank you for attending today's session. These meetings are very important, and it's an important opportunity to share what is happening across LHSC and to celebrate the work of our teams and the impact they have on our patients, families, and communities. As always, these meetings are live streamed through YouTube, and a recording is made available afterwards. Our meetings also replay on Rogers TV London. Each month, we highlight examples how our staff, professional staff, leaders, learners, volunteers, and patient partners are improving care, advancing research, and supporting one another. These meetings are also a space for transparency and conversation, highlighting our progress and achievements, as well as discussing our challenges and opportunities. Once again, I want to thank everyone who continues to join these sessions and staying engaged with the work we're doing. Your involvement really helps shape these conversations and keep us focused on what matters most. I want to begin today by talking about some of the changes you've likely heard about over the past few weeks. Our new models of care at LHSC. I want to take a few minutes to provide clarity for those joining us today who may have questions about what this means. I'll go back before I go forward. So when I arrived at LHSC, the organization was facing significant financial and operational instability. Like many hospitals, though, LHSC increased staffing during the pandemic to respond to unprecedented demand. However, unlike many of our peers, those staffing levels were not adjusted at LHSC following the pandemic, and in some areas continued to grow, including leadership and administrative roles. One of the first steps we took was to introduce a formal vacancy review and approval process through LHSC's Executive Leadership Collaborative. And just for those who want to know who the Executive Leadership Collaborative is, it's made up of all the administrative vice presidents, as well as all of the heads and chairs of the professional staff at LHSC. That's physicians and midwives and dental doctors. So since 2024, all job vacancies, whether new or existing, have required approval through this process. This was a deliberate step to stabilize spending and bring consistency across the organization. That process has worked. It's a best practice and a standard practice, and it's going to continue. At the same time, that leadership I was talking about undertook a comprehensive benchmarking exercise. The leadership compared our clinical and non-clinical operations with peer academic hospitals across Ontario. This included a review of leadership and administrative structures, and that also led to changes that were implemented in the administrative and leadership structures in 2024. This included reducing our leadership numbers significantly. including reducing our executive leadership numbers by more than half. Through this benchmarking work, we also identified areas where staffing levels and models of care were not aligned with our peers, and where growth was not aligned with our patient volumes. And this informed us of our plan moving forward. So, what does this mean when I say we're out of alignment? Well, to give you a context, since 2019, LHSC's workforce has grown by approximately 25%, while at the same time, the inpatient volumes at LHSC has only grown by roughly 4.5% and outpatient visits by approximately 11.4% over that same time period. In other words, staffing growth has outpaced patient care growth, creating a gap that is designed to address, and we have to address it responsibly. So again, with input from medical, clinical, non-clinical leaders, new models of care have been developed to align to our peers and patient volumes. We will be gradually transitioning to these models of care in some units by not filling some vacancies over the next 3 and some 5 years. The difference here is, unlike the administrative and leadership changes that were implemented in 2024, those involved immediate terminations of employment. These planning adjustments are being implemented through what's called attrition over the next 3 or 5 years. This means that as employees leave through retirement or voluntary resignation, some positions will not be refilled if they don't align with the practices of our peers. Now, this is work that hospitals across the province are now undertaking, and even though we started it here at LHSC, the rest of the province hospitals started it in 2025 if they had not already been doing it as part of normal practice. So all of this is meant to do 2 things: is number 1, to make these changes without having to lay off staff, do it by attrition, and number 2, do it without reducing services. So transition to these new models is ensuring our staffing reflects the care we provide today, and we can sustain high quality care into the future. It's about delivering care in a way that's aligned, stable, and responsible. I also want to address a few things we've heard directly from the community. First, this work is not related to the investigation and the past procurement practices, despite individuals, and I would be the first to try to tie the 2 of them together. The unsustainable staffing growth began in 2019 and really has nothing to do with the investigation. Since this is not unique to LHSC, hospitals across Ontario, as I stated, are taking similar steps to improve efficiency and align staffing with guidance through Ontario Health. Finally, while the Government of Ontario has announced a 4% funding increase for hospitals, it's important to note that we will not receive our funding letter to understand how much will be allocated to LHSC until later this summer. On an annual basis, over the last 2 years, we've received just over a 2% increase, broadly in line with inflation, which continues to run at that percentage point or a little bit higher. As a result, this funding largely offsets inflationary pressures on salary supplies, but it will not address the structural deficit that our hospital has accumulated over the past several years. This work is about ensuring LHSC remains strong and sustainable for the long term. We recognize that change can be difficult, especially where there is a lot of information circulating. What I want to leave you is with this. This is a very thoughtful and measured approach. It is grounded in data, aligned with peer hospitals, and being implemented gradually. We are not compromising on patient care. We are not reducing any care services, and we have no plans to lay off any staff. At its core, this work is about protecting the future of quality of care at LHSC, the care our patients and our community count on. I'd also like to highlight an important addition with our mental health program at Victoria Hospital. We have a new Indigenous healing space has been created directly within the unit, bringing traditional healing and cultural practices closer to patients who might not otherwise be able to access them. This space is centered around a medicine wheel, and features artwork by local Indigenous artist Destiny Elijah. It's designed to support emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. It also allows for ceremony and smudging to take place safely within the unit, creating space for reflection, connection, and healing as a part of care. This is a meaningful step on how care is delivered, grounded in partnership with our Indigenous health team, and guided by community and cultural knowledge. It reflects our broader commitment to truth and reconciliation and to ensuring care is culturally safe, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of the patients and communities we serve. We're also seeing this role come to life through the introduction of an Indigenous patient navigator role within that exact unit. These navigators help support patients and families, ensuring cultural needs are a part of the care planning from the outset. I really want to thank the teams, partners, and community members who have helped bring this space to life. It's a powerful example of how what we do and what can happen, when we listen to and learn from and take action together. Now, as we move into presentations, I'm going to hand things over to Deborah Wiseman, who's LHSC's Corporate Nursing Executive and Vice President of Medicine, Emergency Services, Critical Care, and the Clinical Neurological Sciences, and Dr. Christy McDonald, who's LHSC's Interim Vice Chair of the Medical Advisory Committee and Department Head for Emergency Medicine.
Thanks so much, David, and thanks everyone for joining us all for the April Community Update meeting. We'd like to open today by sharing a milestone of our Women's and Children's program. In 2025, London Health Sciences Center recognized a number of babies we recorded. In fact, this will be the second consecutive record year. A total of 6,636 babies were born. That's an average of 18 babies a day. Our total births included 144 sets of twins and 3 sets of triplets. As one of the largest single-site birthing programs in Canada, LHSC supports both local families as well as high-risk patients from across the province. We're excited to share a short video that captures this milestone and the care behind it.
Every birth has a story, and in another record-breaking year in 2025, we were honored to be part of 6,636 of them.
Congratulations! How are you?
Thank you for sharing your special moments with us.
And for leaning on us when you needed extra care. We're proud to be one of Canada's largest single-site birthing units, serving London and the surrounding area.
And caring for many high-risk patients from across Ontario.
Every day, about 18 babies are born. And every child has a story we carry long after the moment of birth.
Yeah, you got it.
From all of us at LHSC, we wish you a lifetime filled with love, joy, and beautiful beginnings.
You can see why those videos are so popular on our feeds. What an amazing opportunity to welcome those families, new babies to the world. So congratulations to all our families, and thank you to our teams on another milestone year. Shifting from our babies to how we're supporting youth as the next generation of health professionals. LHSC's trauma program team is once again offering its career boot camp this summer. This is for students entering grades 11 and 12. It's a week-long immersive experience that sees students take part in hands-on learning, job shadowing, opportunities to gain exposure to a range of different healthcare roles. Students also learn about safety, injury prevention, and teamwork. It's an incredibly valuable opportunity to introduce students to careers in healthcare in a practical and engaging way. The program will run from 8:30 to 4, July 6th to the 10th, and the program cost is $150, which covers the basic activities and supplies for the week. Act fast, though. There's only 2 days left to finish the applications. If you know a student entering grade 11 or 12 who may be interested in healthcare, please share this opportunity. Spaces are limited and participants will be notified in May. The students have an exceptional experience that we know has lasting memories and impact. I'll now pass things over to Dr. McDonald to share highlights on organ donation and patient education. Over to you, Christy.
Great, thanks very much, Deborah. At LHSC, our teams work closely with patients and families to honor the wishes of those who choose to donate. We will begin today by sharing the impact of organ and tissue donation. In 2024 and in 2025, that included 35 organ donors. Those donations led to 98 transplants and 83 lives saved. An additional 108 tissue donors also helped improve the lives of many others. Each of these numbers reflects a life changed and the generosity of donors and their families at an incredibly difficult time. LHSC supported more than 10% of Ontario's 339 organ donors in 2024 and 25, and we're proud to play a role in making this generous gift of life possible. Building on that impact, April is Be a Donor Month and an important opportunity to reflect on the importance of organ and tissue donation. Every 3 days, someone in Ontario dies waiting for an organ transplant. At the same time, one organ donor can save up to 8 lives, and a tissue donor can improve the lives of up to 75 people. And yet, only 35% of Ontarians are currently registered. For those tuning in, one of the most important actions you can take is to register your decision to be a donor. You can register at beadonor.ca or through the Service Ontario portal. Just as importantly, it's about having that conversation with your family so your wishes are known. That simple step can have a profound impact. I'd now like to highlight an opportunity focused on patient and caregiver engagement. The voices of our patients are vital as we work to provide high-quality cancer care across the region. The Southwest Regional Cancer Program is hosting its Patient Education Symposium virtually on Saturday, April 25th. If you are a cancer patient, caregiver, or family member of a cancer patient, and you're interested in lending your voice to help shape the future of cancer education here in Southwestern Ontario, we would love to have you join us. The goal is to understand what information is most helpful and identify areas of improvement. Your experiences and insights can help enhance cancer patient education, and you'll have a chance to engage with healthcare partners as well as other patients and caregivers. Again, the virtual symposium is open to patients, caregivers, and families, and it is free to attend. This includes communities throughout Grey, Bruce, Huron, Perth, Middlesex, Oxford, Elgin, and Norfolk. Feedback gathered will directly inform the 2026 and 27 patient education strategy. If you or someone you know would like to participate, we encourage you to register. You can learn more or register by scanning the QR code on the screen. Thank you for joining us. I'll now hand over to Emily Hontrinka, Director of Support Services. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald. It is my absolute pleasure to share some of the amazing work being completed in LHSC's Patient Food Services Department. Not only is London Health Sciences Centre London's largest employer, we are also London's busiest kitchen. The Patient Food Services team of 130 professionals connects with each LHSC patient every single meal of their stay, from our youngest neonatal intensive care unit babies to our adult inpatients, with all of our adult and outpatient clinics in between. 2025 represented a historic milestone for LHSC, with this team preparing and serving an unprecedented 1,036,204 patient meals. This represents an average of 945 trays at every single meal. Our kitchen is an incredible operation, as we do not serve a one-size-fits-all menu. This team prepares and serves meals for over 180 different dietary needs, allergies, and preferences, providing our patients with full control over their food experience. Our infant nutrition program is a cornerstone of the exceptional care provided in Children's Hospital. with 2025 marking an exceptionally busy year with over 100,000 infant feeds prepared for over 665 patients. Our breast milk program will be highlighted a little later on in my presentation. The Patient Food Services team takes great pride in the products that we serve, with the majority of food purchased being grown in Ontario or manufactured in Canada. The team is looking ahead to the Ontario growing season, excited to plan for local strawberries and asparagus in the coming weeks and months to once again be offered on patient menus. Innovation in meal service is the foundation of our operation. Today, I'm going to share with you a recent change that we have made to support our diabetic patients. For many people living with diabetes, each meal requires careful thought about how many carbs are in my meal and how will it affect my blood sugar. Following that, how much insulin might I need? Since December of 2025, we have been able to ensure that all inpatient meal tickets now include total grams of carbs and fiber. Adding this information to tray tickets supports our patients with informed decision-making, whether newly diagnosed or experienced in managing their diabetes. Ensuring patients have clear information at every meal is key, particularly in the pediatric diabetes program. The ability and the availability of precise carbohydrate amounts has strengthened early education by allowing clinicians to teach patients how to match insulin to food intake in real time. I am so pleased to share the infant nutrition program with you today. This program, supporting Children's Hospital, is a highly specialized program that operates out of our Patient Food Services department. During a stay in the NICU, many babies rely on breast milk. Nutrition technicians store expressed milk, fortify, prepare, and deliver stored breast milk feeds to the units for our patients. Our nutrition technicians work closely with NICU dietitians to prepare all breast milk and formula feeds according to their treatment plans. Nutrition technicians scan all of this milk that comes to us every day into our software system. The information entered includes the date, the time, when the milk was pumped, the name of the patient, and the weight of the milk. Containers get labeled and they go into our freezer for storage. Milk is then pulled from storage as needed to support our patients. Nutrition technicians prepare up to 2 times per day for each infant, allowing NICU clinicians to adapt quickly to our patients' changing nutritional needs and ensure minimal wastage of milk. Quality assurance and control are top priorities to ensure the safety of all patients. We take great pride in ensuring families leave LHSC with their breast milk at discharge. As you can see on the right, a colleague is standing with breast milk ready to travel home with one of our newly discharged families. Patients are provided with the option to take their milk home in insulated boxes and use at a later date, or donate the milk to a local milk bank. Some babies come home with a lot of milk. So my colleague there is standing with 6 boxes of milk, representing over 1,000 infant feeds waiting for a patient at home or baby at home. When I look ahead in our department, we're going to continue to improve how we serve our patients. We're continually looking for innovations and efficiencies. We're reviewing and enhancing culturally diverse menu options. We want to build and maintain our environmental sustainability, and we're going to continue to strengthen partnerships with our patient partners, community partners, and our clinical partners. I really appreciate your time today. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Chris McIntyre.
Many thanks, Emily, and many thanks for the opportunity to showcase the current and future state of quality improvement research here at LHSC. Heather Locko helps lead this critical dimension of our work, and I'll invite her to give you a sense of our current state and where we're going in this particularly important branch of what we do. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you so much, Dr. McIntyre. I'm thrilled to be here today to share information about some of the work we're doing to further grow and advance research and quality improvement at LHSC. First, I'd like to start by acknowledging the amazing foundation we're building on as we do this work. LHSC has a strong history of research that we're very proud of, with many world firsts. For example, it was a researcher at LHSC many years ago who discovered that grapefruit interacts with many medications, resulting in warning labels on medications all around the world. And that excellence in research continues to this day, with many skilled researchers and clinicians doing important research to advance health science and improve healthcare. We are also building on the work of a world-class Center for Quality, Innovation, and Safety, which we call SEQUENS for short, launched in 2020 at Western University. This vibrant community of practitioners is committed to quality improvement. We have another acronym for that, QI, Quality Improvement, or QI as we call it, providing QI education and mentorship and doing QI projects and QI research. Our employees care deeply about quality of care and patient safety in their day-to-day work and are supported by LHSC's expert quality and safety teams. Our research institute has teams that do a great job supporting researchers across the organization in a variety of ways. And we have important partnerships with St. Joe's and other hospitals, as well as with Western and Fanshawe. And these partnerships are crucial to making our work stronger and more impactful. So with this great foundation already in place, what are we trying to do that is different? Well, we're working to expand our overall research and quality improvement support and capabilities so that a wide range of health professionals and employee groups can actively participate in diverse research and quality improvement initiatives. Essentially, we want to be more inclusive to make it possible for healthcare employees who may not normally have the chance to be involved in research and quality improvement to have the opportunity to do so, and at the same time, to increase the diversity of the types of research we do and the kinds of research questions we ask. You might be wondering why we think it's important to do this. Well, the research literature tells us that when different health professionals and employee groups get involved in research and quality improvement, there are potentially many benefits. There can be a strengthening of research culture within the organization that leads to better overall uptake of research evidence into practice. Patients can have better health outcomes. The experience of care that patients and their support persons have can be improved. The experience for the folks providing the care can be better too. Healthcare organizations can perform better and show better value for cost. The door can be open to more innovations in care. And if we ask the right questions to the right people, inequities in healthcare can be reduced or eliminated. So as you can see, there are lots of good reasons to move this work forward. We've identified several areas of action to focus on. These actions have been informed by the research literature, by findings from a validated research culture and capacity survey that we did here at LHSC recently, by review and planning work that was done within SEQUENS, and by consultations with peer organizations, mostly in Ontario and BC. I'm happy to be able to share a few words on each area of action. We are really excited about the work ahead of us. A wonderful step we've been able to take is to integrate the Center for Quality, Innovation, and Safety into LHSC's Research Institute. We have such strong alignment in our goals. This integration will strengthen our collective capacity for quality improvement through education, implementation of QI projects, and quality improvement scholarship. This expands opportunities for all staff to learn how to do quality improvement work, to be involved in and lead impactful projects, to access quality improvement research support, and to share more widely the good work that is happening. As one of our areas of action, we will create a pathway or central hub online that will provide clear steps, information, and resources for people at LHSC who are interested in doing research, so that they have the support they need to be successful, whether it's finding something in the literature to help in their clinical practice, or planning and doing a new research study at LHSC, or wanting to make sure that the research that's been done results in changes in our healthcare practice on a day-to-day basis. Education, which is building knowledge and skills so that people can actively be involved in research and quality improvement, is another foundational area of action. We will offer education to many employee groups on how to do research so people can learn and grow their research skills. Sequence already has excellent education related to quality improvement, and we want to make that more accessible to people from any employee group at LHSC. Another critical focus of our work will be reaching out to our community to raise funds so we can make grants and fellowships available to staff for dedicated funding and time to do research and quality improvement. Without dedicated time for employees to do research projects, it's very difficult to make it happen. We'll also make it easier for a wider group of employees to know about and apply for external funding for research. We heard from our employees through our survey that they would like LHSC to have research-related career pathways and specific roles that enable different health professionals to do the valuable work of research in our organization. So this is another area of action we are moving forward that we're feeling really positive about. We've heard from our peers and read in the literature that having access to mentorship and coaching is really critical to success. So we will make sure we have increased access to research mentorship and coaching, and that it can be built in throughout the entire research process. Sequence has a great model for quality improvement coaching that we can build on. Additionally, research expertise like a biostatistician or an epidemiologist or a research methodologist will also be important for staff and credentialed professionals to have access to. Another area of action we heard about through our research culture and capacity survey is collaboration and communication between research and clinical teams. We want to do better at making sure that our broader clinical teams are involved in identifying the research and quality improvement questions we explore, that we know what practice and care-related questions our staff have, and that our research can impact their day-to-day practice. We will create more opportunities for those working in direct service to be involved in the design of research studies and quality improvement projects, and support two-way communication between research and clinical teams. Research and quality improvement can't impact patient care and health outcomes if what we learn from research is not applied to our clinical practice. So another critical area of action is to strengthen our collective ability to implement research and quality improvement findings, not just for a week or a month, but to really embed them in how we do our work. An implementation science approach can help with this. So we will work to take this approach in all our research and quality improvement projects. And finally, we want to enhance how we share the great work that's happening at LHSC. When we learn things through our research and quality improvement efforts, we want to be sure we share our learning so others elsewhere in our organization, in other organizations, in our region, our province, our country, and even internationally can benefit from our work. And of course, hearing the voices and stories of our patients and our community are essential to inform and shape our research and quality improvement work. Through accessing information currently gathered from patients and through creating intentional opportunities for gathering input, consulting, and co-creating with our community, we know we will make our work even more meaningful and impactful. I hope that this overview has given you a sense of the work underway to advance and grow research and quality improvement here at LHSC, and that you're feeling as inspired as I am by where this journey will take us. I'm happy to now introduce Dr. Matt Davis, Regional Medical Director, and Julie Manning, Director of the Southwest Ontario Regional Base Hospital Program.
Thank you, Heather. Dr. Davis and I are both excited for the opportunity today to share a brief overview of the Southwest Ontario Regional Base Hospital Program, what our program does, how paramedic care has evolved, and why this work matters to the communities that we serve. When you call 911, you won't see us on scene, but our work plays an important role behind the scenes. The Southwest Ontario Regional Based Hospital Program is part of Ontario's emergency health system. We are one of 8 regional-based hospitals across the province. Our role is to support and guide paramedics by providing medical leadership, education, and oversight. Everything we do is focused on patient safety and making sure emergency care is consistent and evidence-based no matter where someone lives. To understand why this role is important, it helps to look at how paramedic care has changed over time. Paramedicine today is very different and much more complex than it's been in the past. Years ago, paramedics focused mainly on keeping patients stable and getting them to hospital as quickly as possible. Most decisions and treatment happened after you arrived at the emergency department. Today, paramedics assess patients, provide advanced treatment, and make important medical decisions right where the emergency happens, in homes, on roadsides, or directly in the community. They often care for patients for longer periods of time and must decide what care is needed and where that care should happen. Because this work is more complex, strong medical guidance, training, and support are essential to ensure care remains safe and consistent. This evolution has changed not only what paramedics do, but what patients experience when they call 911. To deliver this level of care safely, paramedics need the right training and medical support. In Ontario, there are two main types of paramedics you may see when you call 911. Primary care paramedics are often the first to arrive. They provide frontline emergency care, give medications, and support breathing and heart function. Advanced care paramedics have additional training that allows them to manage more complex and serious medical emergencies. Together, they work as a team to make sure patients receive the right level of care. Behind this work is medical leadership, and that's really where our program comes in.
Here at Base Hospital, we provide medical leadership through a team of experienced emergency physicians who specialize in pre-hospital and transport medicine. These physicians help create medical guidelines, support paramedic education, and provide medical advice when needed. Paramedics can speak directly with a doctor at any time during a call, especially during complex or high-risk situations. This means paramedics do not have to make difficult decisions alone. They have medical support available behind the scenes to help guide care. For our patients and families, this adds another layer of safety and expert support at some of the most stressful moments of their lives. This medical support is available to paramedics across all the communities we serve. We provide medical oversight for 11 local paramedic services across southwestern Ontario. That includes nearly 2,000 paramedics serving about 1.2 million people. Our region includes large cities, small towns, rural areas, and Indigenous communities. Even though these communities look different, our goal is the same everywhere: safe, consistent emergency care when someone calls 911. To support that many paramedics, education and quality are essential. Education is a major part of our role as a base hospital. Paramedic training and education doesn't stop once someone is hired or certified. Paramedics complete mandatory education every year to make sure their skills remain current and consistent. When medical guidance change or we learn something new from patient care, we update training to reflect that. This ongoing education helps ensure paramedics across the region are practicing safely, confidently, and using the best available evidence. For the community, this means that paramedic who responds today has the knowledge and skills needed to provide safe and high-quality care. Education is one part of how we support paramedics. We also take time to review how care is delivered so it stays safe and consistent. In addition to education, we focus on learning and continuous improvement. This means we regularly look at how pre-hospital care is delivered to make sure it's safe, consistent, and aligned with best practices. When we do identify opportunities to improve, whether related to training, guidelines, or decision-making, we update our approach. This ongoing learning helps keep paramedic care current and supports confident decision-making in the field. For the community, this means pre-hospital emergency care is not static. It is always being reviewed, strengthened, and improved over time. All of this learning, training, and improvement leads to one simple goal: better care for patients and families. All of this work, medical leadership, education, quality improvement, and research, leads to one simple outcome. It helps ensure paramedics are well-trained, supported, and prepared to provide care when someone calls 911. For patients, this means safer care, more consistent treatment, and better experiences during stressful and often frightening moments. For families, it brings confidence that their loved ones are receiving high-quality care no matter where they live or who responds. At the end of the day, our work is about supporting paramedics so they can focus on what matters most: caring for people when they need help the most.
Everything we've talked about so far is part of our formal base hospital mandate. In addition to that core work, we also provide support to fire services and paramedic colleges through our umbrella program called the Southwest Center for Pre-Hospital Medicine. We work with fire services to provide medical advice, training, and oversight related to medical calls that they respond to, helping ensure that this care is also delivered safely and appropriately. We also support colleges involved in paramedic education by sharing expertise and helping ensure students are learning current evidence-based practices and are well prepared as they transition to practice. While this work is not required under our mandate, we do it because strong partnerships and shared learning help strengthen emergency care for everyone in our communities. This work is supported by London Health Sciences Centre, which hosts the base hospital program. LHSC provides the infrastructure and support that allow us to focus on medical leadership and strengthening that emergency care across the region, so communities benefit from a more connected emergency system. As we wrap up, there are three things that we want our communities to know. First, paramedics today are highly trained professionals who receive ongoing education throughout their careers. Second, they are supported by emergency physicians and medical leadership behind the scenes, so they're not making difficult decisions alone. And third, pre-hospital care in our region is safe, it's consistent, and it's always improving. Our role is to support paramedics so that they can focus on what matters most, caring for people when they're in need and need the help the most. Supporting paramedics, serving communities, and strengthening emergency care together. We're proud of our base hospital role, and we're equally proud to support our fire and education partners. All of this work sharing one goal: safer pre-hospital care for our communities. Thank you for having Dr. Davis and I today, and we very much appreciate the opportunity to share this work. Next on our agenda is Tammy Quigley, Vice President of Cancer, Renal, Mental Health, and Patient Flow, as well as Dr. Emily Jones, Division of General Internal Medicine.
Thanks, Julie, and thanks, Dr. Davis. Again, I'm Tammy Quigley. I'm the Vice President for Cancer, Renal, Mental Health, and Patient Flow here at LHSC, and I'm really pleased to introduce you to an amazing member of our team here at LHSC, Dr. Emily Jones. Dr. Jones is an internal medicine specialist here at LHSC, and she specializes in addiction medicine. You might also recognize her because she was recently recognized by London Magazine as one of the top 20 under 40. We're so proud of you, Dr. Jones. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Dr. Jones.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm going to be presenting to you today the Addiction Medicine Consult Service. We have a dedicated team at LHSC, probably over the past 5 to 6 years, that provides expert addiction care to inpatients admitted to programs throughout LHSC, both University Hospital and Victoria Hospital. We don't directly admit patients, but we work alongside the inpatient teams to make sure that their patients that they're caring for receive the addiction care that they need in order to receive the treatment that they need. The support that we provide is tailored to every single patient, unique goals, their readiness to engage in therapy, and also just providing support for those who have substance use issues while they're admitted to hospital. We also partner with the Canadian Mental Health Association of Thames Valley and the Regional HIV/AIDS Connection to provide funding to staff our program. And really, without these community partnerships, the coordinated service that we are today really wouldn't exist. Our team consists of various professionals, the physicians, which are easily explained. There is a group of physicians at University Hospital and also a group of very dedicated individuals at Victoria Hospital. There's a nurse practitioner at University Hospital that provides the lead clinical role at University Hospital. And we have addiction medicine navigators. And navigators are people that are specialists that help people access treatment and help to bridge the gap between inpatient admissions, community services, and long-term recovery. Addiction medicine navigators help navigate the system and reduce barriers to care. A peer harm reduction specialist, and this is one of our really, really wonderful peer harm reduction specialists at the bottom with the really fabulous hair. They are people with lived or living experience of substance use, homelessness, or stigma, and they provide authentic, real-life support, education, and mentorship to others who are going through similar experiences. And they connect to people in ways that those without lived experience just can't do. They help and are part of our team in reducing the risk associated with drug use, building trust, and connecting people to social and health services. And they're really able to speak with people and make the medical jargon make sense to individuals. It's often sometimes a friendly face and an opportunity for encouragement in hospital. The term harm reduction is going to come up a lot in this talk. Harm reduction is a philosophy or an approach that tries to reduce the negative consequences linked with addiction and substance use. So harm reduction is something that we all practice in everyday life, from wearing seatbelts, or if you're somebody who rides a bike or rides a motorcycle, wearing a helmet. With substance use, this can include a nicotine patch instead of smoking, consuming water while drinking alcohol, or, for example, some of the more potent substances. We encourage things like if you're going to use in a safe environment with someone you trust. Have Narcan available to reverse an overdose if one is experienced. Use a clean needle exchange program for people who inject drugs, and this helps to reduce the risk of disease spread. So harm reduction is really acknowledging that there will be ongoing substance use. How can we reduce the negative consequences of that substance use for our patients directly, but also for the community as a whole? We also, as part of AMCS, we provide withdrawal support and medical management of substance use disorders, from alcohol to opioid use disorder. We provide specific individualized non-medical supports that recognize what each person is going through and what each person needs. And we help to move people from the inpatient acute management and harm reduction to their outpatient follow-up and help to try and bridge the gap. And by doing so, we help connect them with the community resources and the relevant services that take over once we're complete. So as part of our specialized care in hospital, we support patients with alcohol use disorder, opioid use disorder, stimulant and polysubstances. So this can be things like cocaine, crystal methamphetamines, or other substances. We help to manage withdrawal management. And then we also support our colleagues in the acute pain services when patients have concomitant or concurrent disease of both pain and substance use together, to try and find a system that really works for the individual patients. We do this using evidence-based medications, and we try and stay on top of this as much as we possibly can, as it's a rapidly evolving field. Harm reduction strategies, which I alluded to on the last slide, and trauma-informed care, understanding that the patients that we're seeing often have a lot of trauma that they're bringing to each and every medical encounter, and trying to do reach them in a sympathetic, empathetic, and trauma-informed approach. It's really important to acknowledge that substance use disorder really affects people from all walks of life, ages, backgrounds, and various health conditions. Patients admitted to hospital for other medical reasons also struggle with substance use. So, for example, People can be admitted with an infection like pneumonia or cellulitis, but in order to make sure that they receive the treatment that they need help managing their alcohol use disorder or their opioid use disorder. Or for example, if somebody had a fall and broke their hip, we can help manage their addiction care in hospital while concurrently managing their pain in hospital and finding out something that really works for them and allows them to get treatment in a destigmatized and respectful manner. We believe that all people should feel welcome and safe when they're trying to access care, and we want to help them receive the treatment that they need. So we're both supporting the individuals with substance use disorder, but the teams that are taking care of them in hospital. Addiction is a medical condition. It's a mental health concern, but it's also a medical condition. It's a chronic treatable medical illness, much like somebody with heart failure, for example. It requires medical care, support, compassionate follow-up. So just like somebody who has a chronic heart disease and once in a while they sneak in a salty buffet, once in a while people who, even if they've had stable recovery, may relapse. We need to meet them where they're at and help them get back on track. Treatment really, really works, especially when it started during hospitalization, where we have a unique opportunity to see that patient for a longer period of time and a more direct period of time in our facility. We really try and treat addiction like any other health condition, and we try and treat it with respect and focusing on the individual. We can focus on withdrawal management and depending on the substance being used, medication to prevent or manage ongoing use, support for patients and their doctors to know what to expect, how to handle it when those things come up, and really to our patients offering an opportunity to change if that's their goal. We try and build education around people with substance use disorders in hospital so that when they see somebody with a similar disorder the next time, they know how to get started and how to start treating that patient safely. When patients are in hospital, it's a really unique opportunity for patients with substance use disorder to get the help that they need. We at the Addiction Medicine Consult Service, we provide someone who can understand the language that patients are using to communicate their use. We're experienced treating the problems and the symptoms that they experience. We can understand when they're telling us that they're going through withdrawal and how to manage it. And we can advocate for safe addiction care that fits in and complements the rest of their treatment. When patients leave before their medical treatment's complete, they're more likely to need to come back to hospital. And when they come back, their condition is likely to be worse. We want them to be able to stay in hospital and receive the treatment that they need for the reason that they're admitted, and also deal with their substance use at the same time in a respectful, destigmatized, and safe way. With safer discharges, we can then link patients on a more stable basis to outpatient resources and providers. We can prevent readmissions, and we can prevent death due to accidental overdose because of loss of drug tolerance once they re-enter into the community. One of the things we really wanted to do when we started the Addiction Medicine Consult Service is work with our community partners in order to try and bridge those gaps where the gap between inpatient care and outpatient care are where a lot of the trouble happens for people with substance use disorder. The lack of continuity of medications, not bridging into programs, or just not knowing how to manage the gap between inpatient and outpatient, particularly if it happened on a weekend and nothing is open. So we help connect them to community addiction supports. We can sometimes help bridge medications after discharge until they can reconnect with their outpatient providers, and we can really try and reduce repeat hospital visits for something that needs ongoing medical care. One of the things to stress is that we're an inpatient consultation service, so we don't offer our own outpatient services, but we do try and link them to the community resources and bridge the gap until the patients can meet with those that are taking over. And we help to provide, and our addiction medicine navigators really try and help to provide the navigating that system. If you have someone that you or a loved one need addiction help, we strongly recommend you reach out to some of our partners here who are listed on the screen. And this can include Canadian Mental Health Association, also known as CMHA, the regional HIV/AIDS connection, and also the Reach Out crisis line. There may be more that people in this talk are familiar with, but these are the ones we really wanted to highlight today, as the Addiction Medicine Consult Service really couldn't function without their support, and we're very grateful for them. So thank you very much. I hope everybody made it to my end of the talk, and I will be joining in the scrum after. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tammy and Dr. Jones, and I made it, Dr. Jones. So if that helps you there, well done. And thank you for sharing the important work on LHSC's Addiction Medicine Consult Service. Very impressive. So since our last meeting, we received a couple of questions about My Care Portal and accessing records. So it's pretty exciting, as we said last time, and it's great that people are asking questions about this. So the first question is about how parents can access a child's medical records. So at this time, My Care Portal enrollment is only available for patients age 16 and older, and parents are not currently able to access their children's information through this portal. So we're continuing to review the potential for pediatric access and parental access as part of future enhancements to the system. So stay tuned on that. The second question is whether My Care Portal will connect with other hospitals that use patient portals and whether separate accounts are required. So My Care Portal connects only with the hospitals in the region that use the same electronic health record, and it's called One Chart Electronic Health Record. If a hospital is not part of this shared electronic health records, your records from that hospital will not appear in My Care Portal, and you'll need a separate account to access those. So those are the questions we received since our March meeting. But before we close, I want to remind everyone we have a web form available for you to submit questions to be answered in these meetings. And you can find the link in the description on the YouTube and on the Community Update Meetings page of our website. We also have this QR code up on the screen for you to scan. It will take you to the form to submit any questions you might have. So we clearly appreciate your engagement and encourage you to continue submitting any questions you might have. Again, they help us ensure we're addressing the topics that matter most to you. So thank you for tuning in. To our media partners, please join us for our media scrum, which is going to start in the next 3 minutes. And we look forward to addressing any questions our media partners might have. Everyone, thank you again. Take care.